Hello and welcome to episode 170 of My Circus, My Monkeys. As we wrap up 2025, it's a good idea to take the time to reflect on the year. And if you're thinking, nope, I have neither the time nor energy for such pursuits, just hold on. I'm going to make this as quick and painless for you as possible. And the benefit of doing this is having a better 2026. The cost of skipping it means 2026 might just be a rerun of 2025. And I don't think any of us can afford that. So stay tuned. As promised in the title, my intention is for this to be as quick as possible because I know you're exhausted and pretty much over everything at this point. And the only reason I'm even suggesting that you do this now is because if you don't have your autopilot settings calibrated correctly, you're going to continue to waste tons of energy and effort on things that aren't helping you get where you want to go. When we hit New Year's Day in a few weeks, your brain is automatically going to shift into thinking about what changes you want in 2026. But if you haven't taken the time to really reflect on what's working and what isn't, those changes might not really be what you need. So let's do it now together. I'm going to break these into three short questions, and I'll make just a few brief comments about each one. And then, if possible, I'd like you to pause the podcast and take a few minutes to jot down your answers. And if you're driving or whatever where you can't do that, go ahead and think about your answers. But to help solidify them for your brain and your progress, please do write them down once you get to where you're going or you have the opportunity. So let's dive in. Question one. Our brains, and especially our subconscious, are focused on the negative. And that makes sense from a survival perspective. Your brain's number one job is to keep you safe. So it constantly scans the environment for what might be a threat. But the problem is that survival isn't a very high quality of life. And it keeps you stuck with the bare minimum. And it distances you from creating a world where you can show up as your best self. So you need to take time to intentionally look for what's working in your life. That helps your brain focus on your success and growth instead of just survival. And you may have noticed that this is very much aligned with the strengths-based philosophy of focusing on what you do best. So with that in mind, what are three things you nailed this year? What are the things you're doing that are working for you? Where did you really shine? What successes have you had that may have just slipped by your subconscious? So please take a few minutes to think back about what you've done well this year. Oh, and if that feels like too much of a challenge, absolutely ask the people around you. They know what you're doing well, even if your brain has screened that out. Okay, question two. Now that you've had a chance to refocus your brain on what you're doing well, let's think about our second reflection question. If you didn't know, we are in the year of the snake from the Chinese calendar, and it actually runs until February 16th, 2026. Let's talk about the symbolism of the snake. Snakes are perceptive and insightful. They're able to overcome obstacles and grow from challenges. And the shedding of a snake's skin represents rebirth, letting go of the past, and starting anew. So with this in mind, what are two things you've let go of this year? Or perhaps, what are two things you've realized you need to let go of? What are those things or even people that you've outgrown or are holding you back? What have you or what do you need to release to grow into your new upgraded self? One that's more aligned with where you want to go in life. Go ahead and pause me for a few minutes to reflect. Okay, question three. Finally, as you think about how you'd like 2026 to be better, what is the one thing that you want to upgrade that will give you the biggest return on your investment in this next year? And I'm sure there's plenty of things you'd like to change. But remember, our brains don't like change, so they're certainly not going to put up with a bunch of change at once. So instead, think about one thing that would make a big difference for you, your family, or your team. And it doesn't have to be complicated, it doesn't have to be hard. Maybe it's a habit you've been meaning to upgrade, like adding more self care moments to your life. Maybe it's upgrading how you do your one on ones with your team members. Maybe it's as simple as leaving on time every day. Think about that one thing. And when we get back together in 2026, we'll talk about how to make that one thing stick. And again, if you're able, please pause this episode for a few minutes while you reflect on that one upgrade. Okay, that's it. You did it. Have a wonderful holiday season and a relaxing winter break. This will be our last episode for 2025, but I will see you in 2026. And until then, stay strong.